Hello, good evening to you. I am First Alert Meteorologist Cutter Martin here with a check of the First Alert forecast. And boy, do we have a forecast for North Georgia and Metro Atlanta. It's not every day that we're forecasting inches of snow, ice to snarl travel, and to potentially cause some power issues. Add on to that some really cold weather and potentially some gusty wind. So this is a multifaceted storm system, a storm system that will bring a variety of impacts to North Georgia and Metro Atlanta. So a lot to show you tonight, to talk about tonight, and want to remind you that you can converse. You can be a part of this conversation. If you have any weather questions, comments, concerns, the place to be, really two places to be. One would be on YouTube. We are streaming live right now, Atlanta News First, on that particular YouTube account. We'd love a like and a follow, but even if you just want to watch this particular stream and get your questions answered, that is a place where you can ask your weather questions. Again, Atlanta News First on YouTube. Also, you can simply text us 470-777 9263. Again, I'm First Alert Meteorologist Cutter Martin. So if you want to on YouTube, just put that waving hand emoji, say, hey, Cutter, got a question for you. And every now and then I will be checking back there. And again, if you want to text us, 470-777-WANF. That is 470-777-9263 to get your weather questions answered. Cog on YouTube saying, hey, hello to you. Also, Wesley Millsap, faithful viewer. Wesley, always watching. Thanks for tuning in on YouTube, watching, streaming from Ackworth. Again, two folks already given a holler on YouTube. And a reminder that we will continue to stream here. This is going to probably be a pretty lengthy stream. And if you have any weather questions, comments, concerns at any point, just give me a holler. Again, you can text us. I have that pulled up here. I can literally see as you text in. Now, there might be a little bit of a delay between when you send the text and when I'm actually able to read it, when it populates or pops up. So there could be a little bit of a delay. No worries. We'll go back into that text thread. And if a question does come in even after the end of this live stream, I will be here to answer back. And again, you will basically just get a text back with that answer. Let's go ahead and bring you to First Alert Radar right now. It is quiet across North Georgia, but storm system responsible for all the gnarly weather that is headed our way. It is already taking shape across portions of the southern plains. Already we're seeing some snow break out across portions of Texas, even northern Mexico and southern New Mexico. Winter storm conditions underway. Winter weather advisories in effect. Winter storm watches and warnings already in place as the National Weather Service, Weather Prediction Center, and all of those bodies prepare for what is shaping up to be a pretty impactful winter storm for much of the Mid-South, the Southeast, and then on actually up the East Coast. Cog saying, I'm from Augusta, Georgia. I'm not sure yet what I'm going to get. I would say that you do have a wintry mix potential even in Augusta along the I-20 corridor. Maybe not as substantial of a risk as areas to your north and west, like in Atlanta, or like up in, back towards Gainesville and on up into the mountains. But in Augusta, there is a risk of some wintry weather. Maybe not as much accumulation, but I-20 travel probably still not a great idea. Valerie Lee watching from Chattanooga, hello to you. You all are going to get some snow, probably pure snow, up in extreme northwest Georgia and East Tennessee up in Chattanooga. Clifton watching from Oglethorpe, Georgia. Thank you for tuning in and for watching Oglethorpe, Georgia, another spot that's likely to get more snow than ice, but you too, even up that way, could see some ice. Folks are asking about Gainesville. I guess now that we have some questions coming in, now is the time to kind of get down into the nitty-gritty, what we have going on right now. And we're going to switch over. We were looking at First Alert Radar. Now these are winter alerts that are in effect. We currently have a winter storm watch, which does include areas just north of Augusta, though it's very likely that these counties further south, it's possible they could expand this watch, or when they upgrade it to a warning, add additional counties to the south. But what I think is even more likely, in places like LaGrange, possibly even Macon, areas like Augusta, you could get placed under a winter weather advisory. That is a little bit lower threshold, meaning the conditions won't be quite as bad in those particular spots. Nonetheless, you could be put under a winter weather advisory, and we could see this watch expanded. And likely tomorrow morning, we will see this watch upgraded to a winter storm warning that would then go into effect Friday morning. Right now, this is from 7 a.m. Friday to 7 a.m. Saturday. Very likely we will have that winter storm warning in effect, I would say at the latest, by 7 a.m. Friday. So if you're watching from Gainesville, again, we can go ahead and go hour by hour now. We'll just pull out our forecast model here. And the one that the First Alert Weather Team has been relying on more readily has been doing a decent job with the handling of what is going on in Texas this evening. That gives us a little more confidence in how our forecast will unfold over the next day or two. However, we must always remember that these are just computers. And computers are only as good as the equations and the data going into them when they're making these forecasts. And it is inevitable that there will be a surprise or two, a change or two with this storm as it evolves and as it gets going across the Mid-South and the Southeast. Asking about No Name, saying, I work in Kennesaw, should we expect snow? And that would be yes. You too will probably have some ice, so it may start as snow, and then you may have some sleet and freezing rain, but at some point you will get some snow in Kennesaw, and that's likely to be actually the first part of the storm. And as we get into Friday afternoon and evening, we might see some of that snow, even up in Kennesaw, transition to more of a freezing rain and a sleet. That's on top of the snow. Cog, you're very welcome. Caleb, I have a question. I'm in Alpharetta. Will ice be this bad? Ice could be significant. Again, here we are. Let's bring back this forecast. This is, again, this evening. No clouds. We're dry, but we're frigid. Out the door tomorrow morning. It is going to be frigid once again. Hard freeze, widespread low to mid-20s. Blairsville, 15 degrees tomorrow morning. Hard freeze for just about everybody. Hunter Jordan, what about Banks County? Snow is going to be the best bet, though you could mix with a little sleet later in that event as well. Let's get you to the middle of the afternoon on Thursday. Temperatures upper 30s and 40s. It's another frigid day, just like today. It'll be cold, sunny, but cold. Even through 8, 9 o'clock Thursday evening, temperatures back at or below the freezing mark. So another very cold evening, about 24 hours from now, getting to tomorrow evening. But really, it's going to be Friday morning. Again, here we are at 5 a.m. Marietta, Kennesaw, for example, could have a few snow flurries already, maybe a few sleet pellets already. And keep in mind, you see the legend upper left-hand corner. That is going to help you indicate, or that should indicate to you what your area will be seeing. Again, that legend up top. So if you see pink, that's a mix. That's freezing rain and that's sleet. If you see whites or blues, that is snow. Could be, a few sleet pellets mixed in, but more likely to be pure snow, where you see the whites and the blues. Where you see the pink, that is freezing rain, that is sleet, and that is a greater risk of accumulating ice. So again, this is an early start on Friday. So if you typically get into the office, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, you're not going to be able to avoid this. Here we are, 8 o'clock, already in the city of Atlanta. We have snow falling, and we probably have some sleet mixed in as well, with temperatures back in the upper 20s to near 30. North Metro, mid to upper 20s. So we will, as this gets going, have temperatures below freezing. Let's also remember that it's been a very cold few days. Afternoons have struggled to get into the 40s. We've had widespread hard freezes. So the concrete is pretty cold, and the fact that this is getting going in the morning with temperatures in the upper 20s to near 30, already below freezing, likely as soon as stuff starts to fall, it's going to stick and to accumulate on untreated road surfaces. So it's going to get slick very, very quickly as we get into our Friday morning. Jesus Ramirez, what about schools in Cobb County? Again, a lot of folks, a lot of decision makers are making those decisions as far as Friday classes on Thursday. We're even hearing, by end of the school day Thursday, so tomorrow afternoon, many schools will be making those decisions. We have already had some people make decisions, businesses and otherwise. All of that is available at atlantanewsfirst.com. Full list there also in the Atlanta News First app. Caleb saying, because I got to catch up with some gaming for Thursday night. Thursday night, you're fine. No issues tomorrow night. Plain old cold, but we will be dry. Aji, is Fulton County Public Schools open Friday? They are making a decision tomorrow afternoon. They are making that formal call, that formal decision tomorrow afternoon. They have already put that information out there. Even some folks right here at Atlanta News First that have students at APS schools and surrounding schools, they have basically said that they're going to make that final decision by the end of the school day tomorrow for Friday. Skylar, how much snow and ice should I expect here in East Cobb? Again, we'll kind of go back into our forecast model here. This is 8 o'clock Friday morning, and then we'll get into some of those accumulations here in just a moment. So between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m., and forecast models continue to vary a little bit. I would say the further north you go, the more likely you are to see pure snow through the day Friday. But here we are, 10 a.m. Temperatures upper 20s to near 30. That's below freezing, and we're dealing with both snow, and you can see the pink there, a mix. So it's going to be nasty out there. We're probably going to have a mix of snow and sleet across the core of the city of Atlanta, inside the perimeter I-285, with temperatures below freezing. That's going to stick like that. I mean, it's going to get slick very, very quickly on any untreated roadways, and it could come down heavy enough to even cause some issues on treated roadways. Again, the Georgia Department of Transportation already has their plan in place. They are ready to start treating these roadways. Of course, think big interstates, not your neighborhood roads, but your big interstates, I-285, 85, 75, 675, 575, first to be treated. Some of our main secondary roads in the city might get a little bit of treatment or solution put on them to keep from freezing up, or at least slow down that process. But the big emphasis is going to be on our interstates as far as their treating. COG saying at noon on Friday, that shows snow, right? In Augusta, this particular model does show snow. I believe you're from Augusta. Trying to scroll back. Yeah, you're in Augusta. This particular model shows snow. I think you'll have a kind of a wintry mix and then eventually transition over to rain. There could be slick spots in Augusta as well. Nikki asking if roads will be open. Roads will be slick. I don't know about open or closed. You know, there are roads all over the area. I would say it's going to be slick no matter where you are watching from. Jason B asking, do I think Saturday, Sunday, Monday will be bad with lingering ice on roads? I think each of those mornings will have slick spots, especially Saturday morning, and then again Sunday morning, because we'll probably have some melting Saturday afternoon, and then temperatures fall right back below freezing. So we will refreeze each and every night. Now, each morning will probably be a little better than the previous morning, Jason, but I would say Sunday morning we'll still have slick spots, especially untreated roadways, and especially North Metro on up into the mountains. We'll probably still have inches of snow on the ground as we get into our Sunday, and roads will probably still be slick Sunday morning, even though we're waking up to a sunny day. Sunday will be gorgeous. It'll just be cold, and that risk of slick spots greater in the morning. And then we'll have to watch for Monday. The possibility is there, but well removed from that Friday, impact. Hopefully enough drying on our main roads to where we won't have to worry about too much refreezing. It'll certainly be cold enough Monday morning, but hopefully a lot of that will have evaporated off of the roadway, and it'll be drier, hopefully. Cog saying, ooh, let's go. I hope this radar is correct. I have had snow. I have not had snow since 2022. You will see something, Cog. In Augusta, you will have a mix of something. It's going to be more exciting than probably what you had in 2022. Whether it is pure snow, freezing rain, sleet and snow, at least starting as sleet, and then maybe back to just a cold rain. I think you're going to see something other than just raindrops falling from the sky in Augusta as we get into the day Friday, even in Augusta. Zachary Davenport saying, whoop, whoop, I hope it snows so deep if you get to climb a tree. That ain't going to happen. That is not going to happen. Caleb saying, I'm in Alpharetta. Will I get ice? Yes, I do think. Again, we'll kind of continue through this clock. I think it's going to be a mix, maybe initially mostly snow, but kind of a mix of snow and sleet. But watch what happens as we get into Friday afternoon. Notice how that pink kind of moves into the city of Atlanta. This is 2 p.m. Friday. Temperatures are right at freezing. We're probably having a mix of sleet and freezing rain by that point. As we go deeper into the evening, temperatures hovering right around freezing, and you see some of that pink all the way up into North Fulton, Milton, Alpharetta. Certainly there is a risk of freezing rain and ice in Alpharetta. And that was Caleb asking about ice in Alpharetta. I think maybe again is snow, but there is a chance that this transitions Friday evening over to sleet and freezing rain with temperatures right around freezing. Jason B., will this be the sledding tubing type of snow in Atlanta? I think for a time it's a possibility. Again, it won't take too much, but we're not looking at, inches and inches and inches of snow in the core of the city. We're looking at maybe a couple inches of snow and then sleet on top of that, and then freezing rain and sleet to kind of end all of this. So this is not your perfect sledding, tubing, tobogganing, whatever the term may be, scenario. But considering that we have hills, all it takes is a little bit to slide down those hills. So certainly it is a possibility you can still make it down the hill in quick fashion, even if it's not your pretty snow with inches of snow in the city of Atlanta. Now, North Metro mountains, I would say definitely that risk of a sleddable, of gorgeous snow, especially mountains, still very much on the table further north. Nicholas Kennedy saying, this is fake. It absolutely is not. You're going to wake up to cold, wintry weather, whether it be sleet and freezing rain or snow, depending on exactly where you are in North Georgia, Nicholas, on Friday. Cog saying, is this a U.S. or European map? I got confused when searching Augusta. You might be talking about the different forecast models. This is neither. This is a higher resolution forecast model that only goes out 48 hours. Walter Johnson, maybe 1 to 3 inches in Atlanta. Yeah, I would say that's an average. From the south side to the north side, that 1 to 3 is still a pretty good window. Of course, that 1 inch closer to maybe Hartsfield Jackson, and that 3 inch could be a little bit closer to Milton Alpharetta or so. Nicholas asking, I'm sorry, I fell fine now here in Lawrenceville. Glad you're good to go, Nicholas. Hopefully all is good. And Jason B had another one. I thought I might have missed another one. It looks like we got that. Tanya saying high wind for Atlanta. There will be some gusty winds. Nothing too incredibly strong, but that's going to be something that we're watching very closely. In fact, next maps, here's a look at forecast ice accumulation. And I'm going to show you this, but I also want you to remain very aware to the fact that there probably will be some changes to this map over the next 36 hours. Speaking of ice in Alpharetta, this particular forecast map is indicating the potential for significant icing, enough to bring down limbs and cause some power issues across North Fulton, perhaps East Cobb, North Cobb, Cherokee County, Dawson County, Hall County, Forsyth County, much of Gwinnett County, Lawrenceville, and then maybe also some ice occurring down in LaGrange, Troop Heard counties, Haralson County, Randolph County in Alabama. ZM35, how much are we looking at in Beaufort? I would say up in Beaufort, maybe 2 to 4 inches of snow is a good start, but there probably will be some sleet and freezing rain, which really could impact totals and accumulation, especially as we get into Friday afternoon and Friday evening up in Beaufort. And, yep, it is definitely looking like we have a pretty solid setup for whether it's snow, sleet, freezing rain, impactful, messy weather that's going to put a snarl on traffic. Not much moving around as we go through the day Friday across North Georgia. Nicholas saying, will they cancel school? Really just depends. A lot of those decision makers have said, we will make our final decision before end of the school day, end of business on Thursday. So that's tomorrow afternoon. We're going to get a lot of news with that. Caleb saying, I hope you guys stay safe whenever snow or ice come around here. Better put on those fires in the fire pits and maybe drink hot coffee or something. Yeah, we're going to be keeping warm here and advise everyone to stay home if they can. Of course, we have essential workers, emergency personnel, first responders that are going to have to be out regardless. And what you can do to make their job easier is to stay home yourself. If at all possible, stay home, stay warm, stay safe. VI Butterfly 47 on YouTube. What about Macon, Georgia? You could have a little bit of a wintry mix. That would be the first half of Friday, and then you're going to change over to just a plain cold rain Friday afternoon and evening. The risk of icy travel is less in Macon, but not quite zero. This is something we're going to be watching. The weather in Atlanta will certainly be worse than Macon, but even in Macon, you could start off with a wintry mix before you transition back over to just a plain old cold, but less of an impact, sort of just rain. Cog, would you know why Augusta isn't really making any videos on this? You just have to ask your local news affiliate. I'm sure there are videos. WRDW is our sister station in Augusta. Again, Cog, that is WRDW. I know that they have it. They're on the ball, and I'm sure there are videos. Just go to their website, WRDW, and you can get any of their specific Augusta-centric forecasts. Jason B., when was the last time we had accumulating snow in the metro? We actually have a graphic. Tanya's is going to be like 2014. We have much more notice. People know it's going to be an issue and likely will be staying home. So while we may have more on the ground than what we had in 2014, traffic issues hopefully not going to be as big of an issue because people will most likely be staying home. This is not going to catch anyone by surprise. Jesus, do you think we could have power outages in Cobb County? Yes, it is possible. We want everybody around the metro to remain aware that ice and wind are not friends to power lines, not friendly to trees. So tree limbs could come down and we could have some power issues. Again, that's not necessarily a guarantee that you're going to lose power, but we don't want to mess around with this. It's going to be cold as well. Make sure you do have a way to keep your devices charged so that you can continue to get alerts, latest first alert forecast, so you know what's going on, you can stay informed, and again, just be aware the power could go out. Walter says, if I see snow Friday morning, I'm staying in. Same can be said for freezing rain and sleet. If you see any of those, please do stay in as well. Nicholas, thanks for watching. Again, this is Atlanta News First Plus. We give you your latest news headlines, first alert forecasts, and obviously weather is kind of dominating this conversation. So it's all weather tonight. And a reminder, an introduction here, if no one has ever watched Atlanta News First Plus before, I'm First Alert Meteorologist Cutter Martin, one of an entire team. First Alert Chief Meteorologist Jennifer Valdez, First Alert Meteorologist Patrick Pete, Courtney Jacobazzi, Rodney Harris, Ella Dorsey, all working here to keep you updated. GT, I'm asking about Commerce, Georgia, looking like more of a pure snow up that way, though even you could have a little bit of mixing as we get into the evening hours on Fridays, kind of the system wraps up. But up in Commerce, looking a little more likely they're going to get all snow, and that 2 to 4 window is certainly a possibility. But I do think that more so, if you're a little further north of Commerce, you'd be looking at more 3 to 6 on up into the mountains, but that 2 to 4 is a good bet. But I do think you will have some mixing, freezing rain and sleet as this wraps up. Probably won't, even up in Commerce, be a pure snow throughout the duration of this event. Hey, Zeus, will we get another chance of wintry weather? Will this be the only time? You never know. The pattern will remain cold, and the pattern is going to remain stormy, and there could be another chance of winter weather in the next 3 weeks. But right now, we're really focusing in on our Friday and early Saturday morning. The rest is just a possibility, and I'd be guessing at this point. I'd be lying to you if I gave you a firm yes, firm no. It certainly is possible. Christy asking about Powder Springs. Okay, let's go ahead and pull up this snow map now, because I think this will help answer a lot of y'all's questions. Some fluctuations to the map, to the forecast, are certainly still possible. This is winter weather in North Georgia, but let's bring back that map full. Here is the best bet at accumulating snow. You can find your county, your city. Raghav, Forsyth County snow totals. Again, that's on the map right now. Jason B., I downloaded the ANF First Alert weather app during the last storm. Good stuff. Glad it's useful to you. In fact, we're going to be recording a new forecast video and putting it into the app here momentarily. Let's see. Harley, why do we have to watch Greenville Weather Channel here in Habersham? I feel like we don't get talked about too much up here. Maybe I'm just seeing coverage for the Clarksville and Cornelius areas. So you are in a different media market. That is why you get their signal. Sometimes it has to do with I assume you might be on satellite. You kind of get a choice of one or the other. But happy to hear to help you in Habersham County. And again, you can see that up in Northeast Georgia. Habersham County is on this map. And you are in that 3 to 5 inch range of snowfall. And that certainly is a good bet, that far north and that far northeast. Caleb, you're very welcome. Thanks for tuning in and for watching. For Forsyth County, you can see up around Lake Lanier, 2 to 4 is a pretty good bet. That's a good starting window, 2 to 4, though you too could have some freezing rain and sleet, that transition away from snow as we get into Friday, more so late afternoon, early evening. How many inches of snow expected for North Cobb? I would say 1 to 3 is a good bet. Maybe 2 to 3 because you're on the north side. 1 to 3 for the immediate metro, and North Cobb probably more 2 to 3. But you will also have a period of probably some freezing rain and some sleet at the end of this. Walter Johnson, Fulton County will get 1 to 2 inches. North Fulton could have 3 to 4 inches. South Fulton could have around an inch. They will be dealing more with freezing rain and sleet, so it really just depends. Harley, you're very welcome. Hopefully that helped you out. Caleb saying, my goodness, that's a lot. My friends will be enjoying that. Yeah, it is. North Georgia Mountains pretty easily 3 to 6. North Metro 2 to 4. And then for the core of the metro, we're talking Fulton County here, maybe Douglas County, DeKalb County, 1 to 3. Further north in those counties, you get into Cobb County, for example, closer to 3. South Fulton probably closer to 1. You can see that map there on the screen, Adam. Now Douglas County, pretty easy bet to get 1 to 2. Now keep in mind, that's snow. There's going to be freezing rain, and there's also going to be sleet on top of that. This is only the forecast for snow. You're very welcome, Jason. Thanks for tuning in and for watching. Jesus asking about how many inches of snow for Marietta. Again, Cobb County, average 2 to 3. This system is even trickier than normal, though, because we will have multiple precipitation types. We're going to have snow, we're going to have freezing rain, and we're going to have sleet. And the point at which you transition from one to the other is going to drastically impact, of course, how much snow you see in your backyard. Zim35, is this an Atlanta News model or the GFS for Euro? This is a high-resolution forecast model, kind of like what you would see with the HER, but called the graph. It updates more rapidly, and it can have a better resolution, so you get kind of a more detailed look at the forecast versus something that just kind of has a poorer resolution, and it can't really, it looks like everybody gets 2 inches, when in reality there are differences within the North Georgia area. So it's really neither of those. John D, let's see. We'll cut them some slack, John D. We're going to cut folks some slack. A lot of times people, they don't hear the answer that I give, or by the time they type and they hit send and then I answer it. So there is going to be some repetition in here. Mauricio, again, asking about Cobb County. I want to let you know, screen right. there is a snowfall map. This is a forecast, and it is still possible that it could change a little bit. But you can find your county. Hopefully you know where your county is on the map. John Bartow County, easily 2 to 4 is a good average bet there up in Bartow County. But there probably also, even that far north in Cartersville, could be some sleet and freezing rain mixed in. Will North Douglasville get snow? If so, it could get 3 inches. Yeah, of course, there is that chance of snow. You will see snow, but you will also see freezing rain and sleet on Friday. Chris Waters, is Hiram going to get ice? Yes, you will have snow, but you will likely transition to sleet and freezing rain as well. What about Ball Ground, Georgia? What about Walton Newton counties? Again, everyone in these areas, so kind of immediate metro. And in fact, here's a snow map again, screen right, potential snow. I would say Walton and Newton counties, 1 to 3, but there's going to be some ice in there, freezing rain and sleet as well. Ball Ground. Again, there's unfortunately going to be a mix in many areas. Even North Metro will probably see a mix of both snow, freezing rain, and sleet. So for Cherokee County, 2 to 4 is a good bet for snow. But remember, there's going to be some sleet in there, and there's also going to be some freezing rain. It'll probably start as pure snow up in Ball Ground up in Cherokee County, but as the temperature starts to warm up, because it will warm up a couple of degrees through the day Friday and into early Friday evening, and because of the track of the storm system as it looks right now, you will transition to freezing rain and sleet, which is why you're not expecting to see as much snow as the North Georgia mountains, for example, and why you may not see as much as you could have had the system taken a different track. Jason Gill, it's okay. Folks are just curious. They're asking their questions. Again, as far as your specific neighborhood, street, the battery, I'm just going to give you the same range I gave everyone else in Cobb County, and I would say 2 to 4 North Metro. Hi there, Tanya. Thanks for tuning in and for watching. But there will be freezing rain, and there will be sleet on top of that. Do I think Douglas County will get 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 inch of ice? More than 1/4 inch is certainly possible in Douglas County. It is possible. Folks are asking about their communities. Again, the map there is screen right. I would say up in that area, 3 to 5 is a good bet. All the way up in Chatsworth, again, that's way up there in northwest Georgia. You will see more pure snow up there. In fact, you could see pure snow the entire event versus the city of Atlanta and the core of the metro. Dawsonville, I would say 3 to 5 is a pretty good bet, but if you're at a higher elevation in Dawson County, or if you're anywhere just north of there, 3 to 6. But 3 to 5 is a pretty good window for that area, and you could remain pure snow the whole time. But I wouldn't be surprised if you mixed in a little bit with sleet going into the evening. This is the graph model. Tanya, can we see 1 inch of ice? That is unlikely that we will see an inch of ice, pure ice. That is unlikely. In Summerville, Georgia, Chattooga County, stay snow. Chattooga County probably will stay mostly pure snow, but I think a little sleet may mix in with that, especially as we get into the afternoon. You will see more pure snow than everyone else, or just about everyone else, certainly more than Atlanta, but I think you'll mix in with a little bit of sleet as well, potentially. Caleb saying, I forgot to mention Roswell, my old town I used to live in. Is it going to get ice and snow? Yes, everyone will get ice and snow in North Georgia. Anyone who watches Atlanta News First, if you pick up our signal, you're going to get wintry weather during the day Friday. How much is Knoxville, Tennessee going to get? I would say 7 to 9 inches potentially up there, but that has to do with terrain, Samuel, and that's out of our viewing area. I haven't looked at data very closely for Knoxville, but we're talking several inches. I'll say that right off the bat. Several inches of snow up for Knoxville. What is the best time for snow? Well, let's go ahead and go back to our other graphic here. Again, this is the same forecast model that is spitting out some of these snow totals. We'll go all the way to Friday morning. Here we are, 5, 6 a.m., kind of starting. May start as a snow, kind of back and forth between pure snow and a little bit of a mix for the core of metro Atlanta as we begin Friday morning. But as more and more precipitation moves in, temperatures will fall a couple of degrees, and we could see more pure snow going into early afternoon. But watch what happens as we get into mid to late afternoon. Notice all that pink there. That's in Marietta. That's into southern Bartow County. That's into Lawrenceville. That's into southern Forsyth County, that's in the southern Cherokee County, that's a mix. And LaGrange, in Troup County, Randolph County in Alabama, over to Thomaston, Upson County, you may transition to a cold rain, liquid rain. But again, even a few degrees difference in what the temperature is doing at that time will mean the difference between ice and just a cold rain, even down there. Planko Fitness, the GFS is leaning to more cold, rain on the back end. Last time I checked, is that right? Both are showing warming up until even into the evening hours. There's not going to be a sharp drop in temperature as it winds down and moves east. There's not going to be a big blast of cold air on the backside of this system. So really, there aren't any huge differences between the models at this point. Kyle O'Barr, will tomorrow provide a better picture of snow totals, or is this kind of the gig now? I would say this is a pretty solid bet. You know, the numbers we're giving you now, certainly more confidence than what we had 24 hours ago. But up until the day of the event, there can always be some fluctuations. But the numbers we're giving you now, kind of a safe bet and a solid bet at what's going to end up falling. Mauricio saying, can it trend colder because it has been cold the whole week? The same forecast models that were predicting the cold are predicting it to warm up a little bit, and it makes sense that it's going to warm up a little bit. We have an area of low pressure passing overhead or just to our north. That's a southerly flow. Winds are going to kick in out of the south and west, and that'll help warm us up a little bit. So there could always be a couple changes, but at the end of the day, I don't think there are going to be any big surprises. It's not going to be drastically colder than it's forecast to be. The problem is it only has to be 1 or 2 degrees colder in some of these communities to mean the difference between cold rain, freezing rain, or sleet versus just pure fluffy snow. John Doe is saying, snow okay, ice is bad. The roads will be slick regardless, but yeah, for power concerns and tree concerns, certainly snow is the safer option. Kyle saying, okay, my kids are in Canton and want snow. Yeah, you're going to get some snow. I mean, there's no way you avoid, I don't think, the snow completely up in Canton. It's just a matter of when does that transition occur. If it, hangs on to pure snow longer, you might be at the top end of that 2 to 4 range. If you see that transition to freezing rain and sleet a little earlier, that'll cut down on the totals. Nonetheless, the ground is going to be white. You're going to see it on the roofs. It'll be on the cars. There probably will, at the very least, be enough to make a little snowball, at the very least. And I think that your kids will be happy regardless, even with some of the semantics and the uncertainties that we're kind of still talking about. Arctic Reach saying, what caused the Snowmageddon of 2014? It couldn't happen here. That was only an inch or two of snow, and there was less notice and less precaution and less treating and less action being taken leading up to that event. So we very well probably will have more snow, more freezing rain, more sleet than in 2014. That wasn't the issue. The issue was the fact that everyone went to school, went to work, started snowing, and then everyone was let out at the same time, and the roads were not treated as effectively as they were going to be treated leading up to this event. So it was more a problem of society versus a problem of, actual weather. We've had more significant snow even than that, since then, in parts of the area with less of an issue. It was just poor planning, poor timing, and some uncertainty, even more so then than now in the first alert forecast. Will there be snow genesis anywhere? I'm not sure what snow genesis is. Snow genesis, you mean snow forming? Well, we're forecasting snow, so it has to form to snow. So I guess there's going to be snow genesis just about everywhere. Hey there, Chris Waters. Thanks for watching. Trinity Clark, I live in Marietta. How many inches do you think we will get? A solid bet is 1 to 3. Though far north Cobb into Cherokee County, you could get that 2 to 4. Again, here's a look at the map right now. This is still, it's gonna waffle around a little bit. This is just a complicated setup, and as is typically the case, right on I-20, it's gonna be a battleground. It's not gonna be pure snow. It's gonna be a transition with basically all precipitation types, and that makes for a messy accumulation forecast. But I would say as an average 1 to 3, but gets far north Cobb into Cherokee, that's more 2 to 4. Planko Finest, thunder snow is unlikely, but there could be a little bit of elevated instability, especially south of I-20. There could be a couple rumbles of thunder, mainly down towards LaGrange and over towards Macon as they transition back to that cold rain. Let's see, Skylar, do you know if we will get wet or dry snow consistency? This will probably be a wetter snow that'll stick to the trees. Temperatures will only be a few degrees below freezing, so this probably will be a fairly wet snow coming down. Good question. Mesocyclone Man, what are your thoughts on most short-range models showing the mix all the way to the Tennessee-North Carolina border versus the graph keeping the mixed snow line down just north of the city? Models, I think, you might be talking about the HRR, HRRR, really has been struggling with this. They're going to struggle with phases, but what I will say just with looking at the placement of the low, I think there will be some mixing, but it's not going to be freezing rain necessarily. It'll be some sleet mixing with the snow, which is why you just kind of get that generic pink. But even within that pink that goes all the way up to those northern areas, it doesn't necessarily mean freezing rain. It means a little bit of sleet could be mixing with the snow. Technically, that is a mix. Brandon asking about Gainesville's forecast. You are likely to remain all snow for the majority with maybe a little bit of sleet and freezing drizzle mixed in towards the end. You can see the map here. 3 to 5 is a pretty safe bet up on Lake Lanier and Hall County, Gainesville area. Mary Danielle saying, last time we got decent snow, my husband and I were out of town and we're quite sad we missed it. Not this year. Awesome. Glad you're able to stay in town. No one wants to miss the snow when it's unusual as it is for North Georgia. More so just Metro Atlanta. Snows all the time up in the mountains. Scratching, they will close all Metro Atlanta schools in surrounding areas. They will not take a chance after the 2014 disaster. And I think that that's a solid guess. We'll just have to see, but I would be surprised if many of the schools were in session Friday. I think just about everyone is going to be staying home as I look right now. Apple Weather says 7 to 8 inches for Marietta. I don't believe it till I see it because that's not an actual forecast. That is raw model data and not a good model at that. Download the First Alert Weather app. I do not have my phone, but if I did, I'd show you. It's an orange screen. Just search Atlanta News First or First Alert Weather in your app or Google Play Store. You can also text weather to this number, 470-777-WANF. That's 470-777-9263. Text weather to that number, and you'll get your latest forecast as well as all the other resources that'll help you get through this winter storm here across North Georgia and Metro Atlanta. Leo asking what I think will happen in McDonough. I would say solidly, you're going to have, not a huge snow, but maybe around an inch or so, and then you're going to transition back to sleet and freezing rain. Ice is a concern down in Henry County for sure. Jay Bickerstaff asking about coming Georgia up in Forsyth. Again, you can see Forsyth County up west of Lake Lanier, 3 to 5 is a solid bet, but you could have some sleet and freezing drizzle as we get into Friday evening as this kind of wraps up and moves out. Mr. Tree, any chance it could affect schoolwork roads next week? I think Saturday morning, despite being drier, they're going to be very slick roads. I think Sunday morning, they're going to be slick roads. And then with full sunshine Sunday afternoon, even though we will fall below freezing Sunday night into Monday morning, hopefully dry enough on our roads to where, through the process of melting and then evaporating with all the sun Sunday afternoon, it'll be cold enough for slick spots Monday morning, but hopefully we will see better roadway conditions, even if the snow is still sticking and some of the ice is still, on the grass and those sorts of surfaces. How well do I trust the Weather Channel? We're Atlanta News First. We're local news. We're talking about local forecasts. I'm not really going to go into what the Weather Channel has to say or do because I'm not, we're all working for the same thing, and that is to keep you informed and to keep you safe. But all I can vouch for, all I know is the accuracy and dependability of the First Alert Weather team, which I'm lucky to be a part of. And I know that we will keep you updated as precisely and as frequently as possible going forward. Gary Story saying, came in late. How bad will it be in Coweta? Not as much snow in Coweta, but there will be freezing rain and there will be sleet. Slick go of it, at least initially, and I think your conditions could remain pretty rough, especially elevated surfaces throughout the entirety of the day Friday. It's possible you could climb up to 33, 34, maybe you see a little bit of improvement down in Coweta County Friday afternoon, but we can't bank on that yet, and I would say at the very least, first half of Friday is going to be very, very slick, trying to get around down in Coweta County. Mr. Tree, you're very welcome. Jesus Ramirez, can I text you when it starts to snow? Absolutely. Jesus brings up a good point. Again, this number, you can text us your photos. You can send us your videos as the weather moves in. 470-777-WANF. Again, that is 470-777-9263. You can text us your photos, your videos. Let us know what you're seeing. You can just shoot us a quick text saying, hey, it's snowing in my backyard, and give us your zip code, and even that would be a help with the forecast, letting people know what is happening, when it is happening, and where the snow is going. Jessica Ellis asking if I think there will be power outages in Canton. It is possible. Thankfully, you're far enough north, you're going to see more snow than ice, but there could be some spotty outages with breezy winds and a little bit of ice out there as well. I don't think it's going to be as big of an issue up in Cherokee County, but I can't rule it out completely. It doesn't hurt to have that in the back of your mind. Steve and Deli, my PC, Lawrenceville, Gwinnett School Kids, so have working at home, stay, snow, having fun, and Friday. I'm glad you're able to stay home and have fun. Kylo Barr saying, yeah, I saw a video before that, said this is harder to predict given it doesn't happen often. Any truth to that? Before that said, this is harder to predict. Not necessarily harder to predict because it doesn't happen often, but of course, the more frequent something happens, the more people are used to it, the easier it is to get people to understand how things will unfold. But in reality, the main issue here is the track of this low. That's what's causing, the greater than normal uncertainty, though in North Georgia, it's always sort of hard to forecast winter weather. You have a relatively warm body of water to our south, Gulf of Mexico, to our east, the Atlantic Ocean. You also have the influence of the mountains. You have a big metro area that tends to be a degree or two warmer with all the pavement, the concrete, stuff like that, and that can actually impact the lower atmosphere, even just the city itself. So a lot to talk about, a lot to fine-tune over the next 24 to 36 hours. Hey, Zeus, is it going to be snowing in Cobb County, Marietta all day? No, you will transition to some sleet and possibly some freezing rain later Friday afternoon into Friday evening. I want to make sure no one texted here. Doja is asking about flights leaving towards the west coast. Again, a lot of the information from Hartsfield-Jackson, as is typically the case this far out. Just check here with your carrier. But right now, no specific issues reported. Folks are asking, how is it going to be in Suwannee? It's looking like a solid snow up there, though you could mix with a little bit of sleet and freezing rain. I would say up in that area, 2 to 4 is a good bet, but you get up into northern Gwinnett County, going to Hall County, and we're looking at more 3 to 5 as a real possibility. Folks asking, what can Gainesville expect? Again, on the map there, you can see 3 to 5 is a good bet. You may end with a little bit of sleet and freezing rain, though. But those numbers, that map to the right, is still a good bet. How much snow up and coming? 3 to 5 inches. Probably will end with a little bit of freezing rain and sleet, but keep in mind the exact numbers as far as to what you see, how much snow or lack thereof you get. That has to do with, is something going to fall from the sky or not? We know there's going to be a lot of moisture with the storm system. It's just a matter of when do you transition over to sleet and possibly freezing rain. The further north you go, the longer it's going to take for you to transition over to sleet and freezing rain, if at all. That's why mountains forecast to say pure snow and see 3 to 6 inches of accumulation. Harley Yaya, how often will you be streaming? And to the guy who turned off chat, I'm so sorry for asking if he told us already. No, you're the first person to ask that question. So if conditions warrant, we will likely be on TV for an extended period of time on Friday, possibly into Saturday morning. And at the very least, we will be streaming for hours on end here at Atlanta News First Plus, even if we're not on CBS, even if we're not on Peachtree TV, Atlanta CW, we will be streaming right here. But we're working on that planning, much like you are making plans to fit in everything you need to fit in on your Friday routine while staying warm, staying safe. We, too, are fine-tuning our plans as well. So you said based on that map, Dallas should get 1 to 3 inches, and I would say that's a safe bet. There probably will be some sleet and freezing rain, though, on top of that. Will there be any areas that might get a thumping of snow and might get more than expected? There's always that possibility where if we don't transition over to sleet or freezing rain and we remain pure snow, there is the possibility we could see more snow. Maybe you could see 7 to 9 inches up in the mountains. Maybe you could see 3 to 6 inches down in the far north metro. That's a higher end scenario. It's not likely, but it is technically possible. Again, Dallas, Georgia, easy bet 1 to 3, but there will be sleet. There will be freezing rain on top of that. What about Cartersville? Also easy bet 1 to 3. There will be sleet and some freezing rain on top of that. And again, hopefully this was useful. Hopefully it gave you a little bit more information. I want to remind you that you can always, it doesn't even have to be during a stream. The entire Atlanta News First Alert weather team is here to keep you updated, and we will be doing so not only on streams like this one, not only with video updates to the First Alert Weather app, and in addition to the stuff we're doing on TV, we will keep you updated on social media, so you can always give me a follow down below. Again, that's Cutter Martin, Cuttermartin. I just posted something a little bit ago on Facebook, also on Instagram, TikTok, all of it. We're all here to keep you updated, not just myself, the entire First Alert Weather team. First Alert Meteorologist Ella Dorsey, Rodney Harris, Courtney Jacobazzi, Patrick Pete, First Alert Chief Meteorologist Jennifer Valdez, and myself, all here to keep you updated. So feel free, send us a DM, tweet us, whatever your question may be. We're here to keep you updated. And it is possible we could certainly still see changes in the forecast between now and when this begins Friday morning. Will we be streaming on YouTube? Absolutely. If we are live, we will be streaming on YouTube. Let's see. I know this is out of your control, but I just thought I'd let you know that the YouTube stream has cut off 3 times due to ads. Unfortunately, that is not in our control, but I can certainly empathize with how annoying that might be. But looks like Derek has already given you the advice for the ad blocker if that's something you wish to do. Those ads are not on our end. That is nothing. I'm not clicking any of that. That is purely a function of YouTube on your end. And I guess because more people are watching the stream, you might get more ads. Unfortunately, it's just the devil. The devil is in the details, and the fact that we are giving you the stream, but occasionally you're going to get a little bit of an interruption, just comes with the territory, I guess. I want to remind you, I'm about to record a video, put it in the First Alert Weather app. Also, First Alert Chief Meteorologist Jennifer Valdez and First Alert Meteorologist Patrick Pete will be back on Peachtree TV, Atlanta CW at 10 p.m. And then for the late news tonight, WANF on CBS at 11 p.m. We will have our nightly data coming in. We're going to have new data coming in. We might be even fine-tuning that forecast even more. I don't think there are going to be any huge swings, but new data, new information, we are passing it along to you coming up tonight. And again, if you want a full list of resources, where to watch our coverage, your latest forecast, links to the latest list of closings, which will likely grow exponentially tomorrow, text weather to 470-777. WANF, again, text weather to 470-777-9263. Have a great evening. Stay warm.